Before we get started tonight, ladies and gentlemen, an episode here at Fast Break live on Ice Sports Radio. I want to talk to y'all about the last 8 years of the company. For the last 8 years, Ice Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content, ranging from interviewing legendary athletes to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the world. All the while, we've been continuing to be by the fans, for the fans, and with your help, we're ready to take the next step. When you go to our website, iSportsRadio.com, you'll see our Patreon link at 5 different tiers. The first one starting at $5 a month. This donation gets you shout-outs on all 32 of our shows. Higher tiers include iSports Radio merchandise, access to our podcasting university, even a chance to be featured on our flagship show, The Defining Moment. Thank you all for very much continuing to make iSports Radio your reach for all that is all sports. I want to shout out to our 4 Patreon members: Barrier Rays, Marcus, Los Great, Key to the Gate, and Anonymous. Thank you to everyone for making our 8th anniversary special. And here's many more years to come. Now, on to the show. On tonight's show, we'll discuss the men's and women's Final Four. We'll discuss, the outcomes of the games, our thoughts on that, and who should win the men's championship come tomorrow. Plus, the NBA and the Players Association agreed to a new deal yesterday. We'll break down that and what it means for the league's future and some of the provisions that got put in pen. Plus, with the NBA race winding down, can some of y'all's teams make a playoff push, or some teams kicking the can down the road? We'll discuss that and much more here live on iSports Radio. You're the reach for all sports, and you're welcome to join us. Join us as you shout tonight. Lots to talk about, lots to get into tonight. It's going to be a very good show here tonight. Lots of things going on tonight. And, we had a good game today, D-Lock, between LSU and Iowa. But we're going to discuss the women's here as a whole. But how you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. Like I said before, these tournaments are great tournaments for these specific reasons. What we've seen so far, upsets. It keeps you on the edge of your seat each round, and the Final Four is one to watch for both sides.
Let's hop into it on the women's side of things. We'll get to the men here in just a second. Going back to Friday, what were your thoughts on the Friday contest and stuff like that? Mainly South Carolina, Iowa. How did that? It didn't play out like I imagined. I knew Caitlin for Iowa got her points. It's kind of like one of those instances in coaching, like I'll let you get yours, but I'll shut everyone else down. But on the flip side of things, like, Don Sully and coaching staff didn't do enough to kind of, put themselves in a good position to win. What are your thoughts, on the women's Final Four this weekend, including the championship?
Well, it definitely was a shocker for me. The fact that, you had Iowa who been playing pretty well all year long. For point, for when you get into the Final Four, you're probably going to be playing against, well, more than likely going to be playing those top ranked teams on both sides usually. Uh, so you got two number one teams make it, to the Final Four, number two and number three team. So this is, going to be some good games. But for both of us, we both had South Carolina winning this. I mean, we said it last week. Is there anybody that's going to challenge South Carolina? We thought that it was like, nah, it could be, but, I don't think nobody's going to really, get that close to South Carolina. And I said at the end, this is why you watch. I said, but again, you never know. This is why you watch the sport, and this is why they play. Caitlin Clark for Iowa played amazing in the matchup versus South Carolina. I mean, she going out 41 points.
Yeah.
At this point, you're expecting. I was expecting South Carolina really to have control of this game. Being in fact they were the only undefeated team and the team that was the clear favorite because of being undefeated. But I mean, Caitlin Clark just killed her. I mean, taking 30 shots and she finished off with 41. Then she led the team in assists as well. So they jumped out, in front of South Carolina, put pressure on them, and they stayed out. So that was something that South Carolina did not see all year long. A team that's going to be with them through all four quarters. And thanks to Caitlin Clark, they stuck with them. I mean, girl had 41 points. They finished with 77. She had more than half of the points. So it tells you, that she played a big part. It just was, for me, like you said, I think that South Carolina could have had a better adjustment, in their plan. But it's just like Aaliyah just couldn't get go. One of the ones for South Carolina, Aaliyah, she just could not get it going. Tried to get there, but it's just like every time she did something, Caitlin Clark came back. So for me, I felt like that gave that confidence to Iowa, which they had already. But just looking at what Caitlin has been doing all year long, I'm like, damn, okay. I figured there was no way that just her was gonna manage to stick around with South Carolina, and they ended up doing it. So that was one of those games where I was like, damn, really? So I definitely enjoyed that game, but it had me on the edge of my seat because that was something that was definitely unexpected. LSU and Virginia Tech. Alexis Morris had a game against VTech. She killed it. She did. She had one of those games. Angel Reese has been playing extremely well all year long. She came out and brought it, but Alexis Morris owned that one. That's the game that, she led the charge for them. And it just seemed like the same thing with this one. VTech played very well against them. They had, for a while, and LSU continued to fight back, that's probably the best way that you can get confidence. You're down and you get back up and you find a way to win. And that's what LSU did. I mean, they came out, VTech came out ready, and they battled with them back and forth. So Angel Reese played, like I said, well throughout the whole game. Alexis Morris, same thing. So to me, I think this game that LSU won, this is the one that gave them that confidence heading into today's game. It's just you going to halftime, you're down, you're thinking that this is what you got to do. Come back third quarter, VTech still is hot shooting. They put up 25 in the third quarter. Fourth quarter come around, it changes. LSU comes around, plays defense, and they put points on the board. That is an impressive win, very impressive win. And again, to me, that gave LSU that confidence going into a championship game. And then, we come to today. It was tight at first, and then LSU was pulled away at this point. Your confidence of what you've done in the Final Four against the Virginia Tech, you go against Iowa, who was obviously a very talented team with a Caitlin Clark. LSU just was there. They had control of this game. They got out hot. They put pressure on Iowa to continue to play. But second quarter, they took off. Second quarter, LSU took off. Now, granted, Iowa fought back. But from what LSU did in the previous game against VTech closing, they did the same thing against Iowa. Same exact thing. So, congrats to the LSU Tigers. I felt like, they started to get the ball rolling at the right time. And this is crazy to think that this is their first title ever in this program history. So, definitely, this is why we watch it. I'm pretty sure everybody in their bracket had South Carolina win.
Yep.
It's probably a very, very small, probably probably exaggerate, maybe 2 or 3 brackets didn't have them winning, but more than likely, everybody had South Carolina. And LSU found a way to get the win, got to the championship game, and knowing, South Carolina knowing what's going on through this, through this tournament, teams are watching them as well. The pressure was there. It's just that I think LSU came out and got the victory, and it was well deserved.
For me, going to like the South Carolina Iowa game, you can tell that South Carolina, as great they were, and they out rebounded those girls in that game. Let me pull it out. I had it up. That rebounded those girls by 20 plus, especially in the offensive rebound part. That's really something right there. Had more blocks than Iowa. Turnovers were the issue, but the fouls and stuff like that, they led them about that. But my thing, South Carolina, the 3-point shooting. If you got people sagging off you and not scared to, not worry about y'all shooting, you got a little bit of a problem right there. And I think for South Carolina, I tweeted this from our show account on Fast Break at IESR. The reason why LSU won today, compared to South Carolina, was outside scoring. You look at LSU today, scoring is immaculate. The bench was great. Jasmine Carson was great off the bench. She was damn near perfect from the game until the second half. But she had 22 off the bench. That goes a long way to help your team win. Shooting for 11-17, 64% for 3-point land goes a long way to win the game. So that's 2 differences right there. Yes, Caitlin Clark played great. I'm not taking that away from her at all. You know, 41 points. She played great. Took a little too many 3 points in my opinion, but, you know, regardless, you got the W. And then you kind of fast forward to today. Yeah, granted, yeah, she had 30 points. Took more 3-point shots than she did the other day. But her teammates weren't there to pick her up. Nobody off the bench attempted a 3-pointer D-Lock. Other starters had like 3 other stars in double digits, but it just wasn't helpful enough. They did make a late charge in the third and stuff, trying to get back into it, but it's just like also 20 just like Kim Mulkey. And by the way, about Kim Mulkey during that game, Caitlin Gard got like a ticky-tack technical foul in that game, which I didn't agree with. And I think I got a statement from the ref that called at her. I'll read that in just a second. But Kim Mulkey, man, every time you look up, she's on the court and all that stuff. Iowa bench got, warnings and all that. But Kim Mulkey out there in the court, like a 6th defender out there. Like, if you're going to be consistent on one side, you got to be consistent on the other. So I think she should have at least got a warning. Or at least a technical foul, something like that. Hey, I saw one point, someone put an image up on Twitter. She was down there on the damn court.
Yep.
I'm like, damn. You don't get this lady off the court. And she ain't the only coach that does it. Like, here locally, there's a high school coach around here that be up in the court and shit like that. I said, dog, you on up on the fucking court, man. And the gym ain't that fucking big. You can't shout instructions from where you at. I don't know what to tell you. But regardless of that, credit to them. LSU came out, a lot of moxie, played great. They got the Iowa starters in foul trouble that helped go a long way. And they won the championship. And I'm one of those people that had LSU making the championship game. Just kind of look how the brackets look up in Kim Mulkey's history, which I'm not a big fan of, but I think they got a good chance to make it to the championship game. Did I think they're going to beat South Carolina? No. But I thought I had a good puncher's chance if they get matched up with them again. And then with South Carolina getting put out by Iowa the other day, that was just easy, like a gateway, for them to win the championship. It was a great run by Iowa and Caitlin Clark. She got a lot of shine. And come next year, if she plays well again, then she'll be that first overall pick coming to the WNBA draft in 2024. But it was just LSU's time. And like I said, the chips fell where they were. Kim Mulkey, second year in, she won the championship in her home state of Louisiana. So, congrats to LSU. I hate saying that. Sick to my stomach. Ugh. But they came in and did the damn thing. And I will just say one more thing, D-Lock. Angel Reese, along with part of Caitlin Clark and a couple others I'm not mentioning, got to come in next year and really, really dominate. A lot of attention became on Caitlin Clark, and rightfully so, but I think Angel Reese got potential to kind of, do something real special here with LSU. The next couple years, maybe like a chance to be a three-peat in a sense. Granted, South Carolina being away, Virginia Tech, I think one of their that Virginia Tech thing is kind of weird too. I forgot to mention that the whole player situation. I think the girl's name was what's that girl's name? Oh, what's that girl's name? I forgot the girl's name for Virginia Tech, but that whole situation was weird Friday night and how that was transpiring through social media and all that stuff. Uh, but she can come back strong minded and maybe do something special at LSU women's basketball. I think they can do that. But what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, my thing is she again. It goes off the confidence. You know, with Moki's Coach Moki's second year there, they got a title already. Angel Reese comes in, you know, and makes a huge impact. I think that if she do come and dominate next year, now you get that ball rolling, you know, at an LSU. You know, we talked about it before. We talked about UConn having that run. Thought South Carolina was going to continue having that run, which they will. But now you have another team that's gonna play a part, and this is where that title is gonna help a lot. So them getting another championship next year is very, very, very possible. I think, and I thought that so college women's, they can't just leave after 1 year. So for me, I think that her staying, clearly having to, she's going to be a much better player next year. And I think that you're going to have your bulk of teams that are going to go to the tournament. And I think LSU is going to be one of those teams that we're clearly going to watch for next year. Now, again, it's like this year, there'll be some teams that can pull off upsets. So I think LSU will clearly come in as a favorite, but you never know. And it's definitely going to be exciting to watch.
I got the girl's name, Ashley Owazu, who transferred from Maryland. Now, that I do remember. And then it's just weird that how that situation played out on Friday night. You know, and it's weird how her season, became about. I guess there's like a lot of infighting between her and a lot of her teammates and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that don't help things at all when you're trying to when you're in the especially in the Final Four. You try to want that stuff squashed, but you got infighting in the Final Four, and especially in the players tweeting and stuff like that in the middle of the game, all that stuff. Like you gotta, if you're the coach, you gotta kill that stuff. And then you got teammates saying, Trailer saying, why Ashley O is on the bench anymore. Somebody tweeted, and then she subtweeted it and said, I don't know, check the LSU bench. And then that tweet was retweeted by several of her teammates. Ashley's father responded, Emmanuel Owazu. He said, maybe you should tell the truth about how she hasn't spoken to several kids and on the team for months. Jeez, he can't type. How about the special group chat that the coach has with 7 of the kids? So, and then Awaju's former Maryland teammate, Angel Reese, who just won a title at LSU, she says, free my dog. And in which, to a Virginia Tech guard, Kayla King responded, she been free. Now, Coach Brooks for Virginia Tech and players when I asked about tension about between Ozazu and her teammates at the post-game press conference. Those simmering tempers seemed to boil over on Twitter in the aftermath of the loss. As a senior, Owazu can use her extra year COVID eligibility, but she plans to join the professional ranks. With the Hokie season done, she's going to plan to opt to the draft. So, yeah, that seemed like a whole hot mess right there. If you're and you're in the coaching ranks and stuff, D-Lock, you're in the championship or trying to make it to the championship. You got all this infighting that's finally boiled over to the point that it's taking your focus out the game, trying to be LSU. What would you do in that situation? Kind of like everybody, like, hey, there's potentially 2 games left. This game and the championship game on Sunday. What would you tell these girls to try to get their minds focused in there?
The biggest thing is the fact that you have 2 more games left, possibly. All this negative energy is not helping anything because it's a sense of distraction. Different fights and, on social media going back and forth and all this stuff. All that stuff can be killed by doing, by focusing in on finishing off this tournament. Because again, like I said, you're in a situation, you're in a tournament where one game. We just found that out about South Carolina. South Carolina, we thought that, you can go all the way. They, like you said, they didn't shoot that well. They lose that game. And they're out. So for me, it would have been more so of, we have a title on the line that we're trying to get. All this is just distracting stuff. That's all it is. So if you focus on what you have, you focus on what you're supposed to be doing, at least give you the best opportunity to win. But getting sidetracked, going back and forth, having all this negative energy, it doesn't get anywhere. Because now what happens is it messes up the focus on the court or on the field, or on the track. This you have some teams that were just completely locked in the whole tournament. And we've seen that. So that's the energy that is needed. But if you are getting sidetracked and having all this negative energy, it's not helping anything at all.
I agree with you, man. It's just like, as a coach, you got to kill that stuff. You try to win a championship. You got potentially playing between 3 tough teams with 3 different styles. And, you got all this stuff going on. It seems like it's been going on for months. Since, they, she's been on campus. And for you not to kill this or pull them aside or you doing separate group chats and stuff like that with other players, that's not good leadership material.
Nope.
And you're very fortunate to make it far the way you did. So, and then to all this blow over at the Flying Forward is just like, damn, dog, you can't pull all these girls to the side and say, hey, forever hold your peace. Let it out before we play these games in the Final Four. 2 more games. If we can't come together at least for 2 more games or whatever, then y'all can go about your business and don't speak to ever again. But the fact he didn't do that, Coach Brooks didn't, is this kind of testament, this weak leadership.
Yep. And I'm with that because, coaches were not just coaches, your mentors, your teachers. We're trying to send them a good message, give them the right tools outside of any sport. So these rules, these are things that are this distraction or this that poor leadership. It can have a negative impact off the court when they're done playing ball. So that's what like I said, that's what sometimes as a coach you have to be. They have to respect you, and you have to be tough on them and let them know when they're doing right and they're doing wrong. So there's something that you have to let them know. That's part of that leadership, which the athletes will thank him for later if you do that. Maybe mad at one point, hey, well, he said this, he said that, but that's the energy that needs to be brought. Because if not, you're not correcting something that may make a bad impact in the future for them.
Yeah, so season's done now. All of them go their separate ways. It'd be really interesting to see come next season what success Virginia Tech's going to have. Because some of these girls see this and are like, I ain't trying to go there. If they doing this stuff like that, stuff on the slide, then they ain't gonna try to go there. Not saying players were not continue to go there, but y'all get my point. It's like, if he's trying to get the creme de la creme in women basketball, then you gotta do other things. If not, you be sneaking, in the ACC.
Yeah, and that's once you have recruits say stuff like that, that's a trend. Once they start to see what they ain't, why nobody ain't going to be Tech and what's the purpose? They start telling other kids. Now it hurts the program. So this has to be corrected. Congrats, they got far, but if you lock in a little bit more, maybe you have different results.
But moving forward, D-Lock, let's talk men's real quick. What were your thoughts on the men's Final Four this past Saturday? Obviously San Diego State, FAU was the game of the night. Excellent back and forth. UConn, it's kind of like as expected. They won by double digits. What were your thoughts as a whole on both games on Saturday night?
Well, to be honest with you, I was hoping to see the Miami game first. The Miami UConn game, the way it went down, it just seemed like UConn had control of this game for the most part. Already was clearly the bigger favorites. So that game kind of just was like, okay, well, yeah, UConn, they already have a lead. Miami tried to fight back, but just they had control of that game, most of it. The one that was interesting, however, was FAU and San Diego State. That was the one that I kind of paid a lot of attention to as well. FAU was in it the whole game. Like, it just seemed like they were going to win. Howard was playing the momentum, but from what I believe basketball is all about runs, and San Diego State just clawed back. And it just seemed like right when the pressure came, FAU stepped up, continued to compete well with them. And the last shot, man, that is the mark of a great game. Great competition, very competitive game. It came down to the last shot. And also, I think that is coaching. He had to set that play up. So, like I think you were saying before, he was surprised that he kind of got it off in time. But this game was a hell of a game to watch, man. For me, the one that I really liked Elijah Martin, how he played. Played extremely well for them. stepped up big. Uh, which I mean, at this point, once you get this far into the into the um, into the tournament, your momentum you're starting to click. Now the biggest, one everybody talked about for FBU was Dentarius Davis. Looked like he kind of had he struggled this game. Couldn't really get it going that much. But even with that, FBU had a hell of a game plan. They set it up perfect. Went into halftime with the lead, big lead at that. So they played well. It's just, it came down to that last shot. And now, we got San Diego State and UConn, which, it's kind of right now I definitely got UConn winning that. I was going for both Florida teams, but I guess both my Florida teams got put out that I was going for. So I think I'm going to have to ride with UConn tomorrow.
Going to the San Diego State FAU game, I thought it similarly played out the way Tennessee and FAU played back in the Sweet 16. It felt that way. But I think the only difference was in that one, FAU kind of pulled it off a little late and kind of stretched it out and kind of got Tennessee tired at the end. So, but with San Diego State, credit to them not letting up. When FAU got up big, I thought, okay, this may be it. Credit to San Diego. They stuck with it, started driving the lane more. I thought FAU let off the gas a little bit in my eyes, and they kind of should have kept on pumping it full. Kind of extend that game out, kind of make San Diego State more of a jump shooting team. And then you probably could have sealed the game out. But San Diego State makes a good place defensively, went on a good score, a couple runs, and they're right back into things in late of it. Did I think I thought honestly San Diego State got some favorable calls late in that second half. I think the kid Golden for FAU, he got like a bad call on him on a block shot he made late in the second half. That was all ball, and he got called on the foul. And even though, after seeing the replay, his wrist, a little bit afterwards, but it's like he got the ball first in the play. And if they call it on the wrist afterwards, that's kind of a BS call, to be honest with you. So, but what I said about the final shot, what I told you is like the way the ball movement is going and stuff like that is like, damn, can he get a shot off in time just to trying to do something? The way things are going, especially in that corner part, but he. Credit to what's the kid's name? I had it. Credit to Lamont Butler. Getting the ball off and stuff like that. Took advantage of the defender went under the screen and whatnot, and he got the shot off this, nice clean look too, to making a shot and sending San Diego State to the championship game for the first time in school history. But credit all to them, for making it. Job's not finished. They got to play against a very tough UConn team that's kind of, I won't say streamrolling everybody, D-Lock, but they, since, second round on, they kind of been putting the hammers to folks. Let's see. Our own, I'm trying to pull it up right now. Our own Bernie Bango who does that Wisconsin show, he put a question up. Does Coach Key for FAU stay there? Does Dusty May, sorry, my coach, does Dusty May stay at FAU come next year? I say yeah, because all the good jobs got taken up already. So there's that. Plus, FAU is going to the the athletic conference, the AAC. So that's like, so for those that don't know, that's like Memphis and all that, SMU, all that stuff. So you're going to that conference come next year. Now, does he have another good season in him and we'll see what else pops up? Sure. But all the good jobs got taken up already for him not to move anywhere. Plus, got some players coming back, transfer portal. They probably see what FEU going on. So, okay, maybe I want to go here. A lot of still good names in the transfer portal. So
yeah, and I think that it being FEU making the move they did in the tournament, you're definitely gonna have kids want to come there now.
Plus South Florida too at that. I was kind of rooting for that all South Florida championship because, as you know, down there, those two schools don't like each other like that.
Nope.
And to kind of see that happen, it'd be kind of fun to watch and stuff like that, and a lot to talk about, especially in that South Beach area. That'd be like a good, if you work on a radio station down there, that'd be like a good, easy show to do right there. Why you think FAU win? Why Miami gonna win? All that stuff. Blah 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 blah. But I do want to say this about FAU, D-Lock. A lot of national pundits, when conference tournaments going on, saying, well, if they lose their conference tournament, I don't think they should make it in. They should be NIT bound. Well, a lot of folks got egg in their face. And I said on this show, don't sleep on FAU.
Yep.
Now, did I foresee them making this far? No. But, they could beat Memphis. They did beat Memphis. Well, granted, Purdue lost to FDU. So that gave them another way to get to the Sweet 16. But I said, FAU is a team, don't sleep on them. I'm not saying they win the championship, but don't sleep on them. And they prove a lot of us wrong. A lot of folks wrong. And they were like a jump shot away going to the championship game. So, here we are now. They are almost there. Almost had all South Florida showcase. So, my thoughts on UConn being Miami. Kind of like the way I thought it went. They'll win by double digits. They were just so tough and, intimidating. Sango, 21 points, 10 rebounds. The bench, 8 points from Alien. It seemed like Miami could never got going in that game. Granted, Miami shot perfect from the line, but still you lose by double digits. The ball movement with UConn was great at certain points of the game. So, I'm not too surprised they won by double digits like this. But if I had to give a prediction for Monday night's matchup, I'm still stick with my pick, UConn. I think for San Diego State, if they get down double digits like they did to FAU, UConn ain't gonna let up like that. They ain't gonna let you kind of get back into the game, and you got kind of like a somewhat similar styles of play. It's like whoever gets enough size lead between either school, I think that school will come out and win. But I think how many times have we seen San Diego State like down like this and come back and down and come back? By at least 3 games. And UConn, you haven't seen that once. And does San Diego State D-Lock have one more in them? If they get down big, they got enough to go a couple runs trying to come back and trying to win a game? That's an honest question to ask. So I got UConn winning again, and I got them winning by double digits. So, it's just the trend that they've been on since second round on. I got them winning by double digits against San Diego State, and Coach Hurley will bring another title up to UConn.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, right now, I'm UConn is starting to roll, and it's about when you're peaking. I definitely think UConn is going to be the favorite, but we've already seen a few upsets, so I would not be surprised if San Diego State found a way. At this point, but UConn clearly is a favorite. It was a hell of a bracket, man. I mean, it was a hell of a bracket. It went by fast, which is what I don't like, because it seems like as soon as the tournament starts, it ends.
Yep.
It goes by so quick, We literally was just talking about making picks maybe a couple of weeks ago, who was gonna get where. So now you come down to that championship game. I definitely would love to see San Diego State, get their first title. But I think UConn is the way, like you said, the way UConn been rolling. They've been kicking everybody ass all the way through. We definitely knew this when they dropped Gonzaga like that. They did Gonzaga like that. You already knew, So UConn may be hosting the trophy tomorrow, but definitely tune in to watch, people, because you never know.
Yeah, just real quick, I'm going to the chat. Shout out to the chat tonight. Shout out to Marcus Los. Great. How you doing tonight, sir? Marcus saying, UConn overrated. I hope they lose since everyone's on the UConn bus. I think I'll say this about UConn, everybody on the bus. I think once Alabama and Houston lost, I think all the attention went to UConn. In a sense, like I was like, everybody looking at it, well, UConn, because Florida Atlantic, how much further were they going to go? San Diego State, good win against Alabama, but we're talking about a Creighton team that was like, there's like top 10 early this season that if they got things rolling, they could have, make a good run. So, I mean, I guess everybody just looked around, so like, well, UConn, they're consistent, they there, they're one of the top teams in the country all throughout the year. So, I think everybody just look at UConn and say, okay, it's them. I don't think a lot of people didn't have a lot of confidence in Miami like that. Even though, I was one of those people that put them in the Final Four. in one of my brackets. But I think just the way they beat everybody and stuff like that is just like, I think that's why everybody on the bus. So that's I think how I see about the bandwagon and stuff like that. Is I think everybody just kind of look around, national media people and stuff like that. It's like, UConn. And you kind of look at it now, UConn probably got seated a lot lower than they should have. Maybe it should have been ranked a little bit higher. So moving on, D-Lock, real quick. The NBA, the NPA, Players Association, have agreed to a new 7-year deal. So, a tentative deal, so no lockout for the foreseeable future. Thank goodness, because the NBA is real bad about that, because they would wait till the last minute to get everything done and we lose games, but so forth. The new CBA will run through 29-30, unless either side opts out after the 2028-2029 season. The agreement means the league will avoid a work stoppage, which has always is an unlikely situation. The last major stoppage was back in 2011-2012 season, which was reduced to 66 games. So that's the season that started around Christmas time, I believe. So, trying to go through some of the things that are in this inclusion in the new CBA D-Lock. The long discussed in-season tournament and the minimum game requirement for major end-of-year awards are in this deal. The in-season tournament could begin next season with the expectation that it will include games as part of the regular season schedule and pool play in an 8-team single elimination tournament in December, according to ESPN. The semifinals and finals are expected to be played in a neutral location. The tournament championship game will add one game to 2-team schedules, but the remaining teams will continue to play 82 regular season games. The winning team will reportedly receive $500,000 per player in prize money. What do you think of that, of the in-season tournament and stuff like that? Are you down for that, or what are your thoughts of the in-season tournament? Because I'm not really feeling it.
No, I mean, in-season tournament is something that I'm not really into. I think that is going to be like too much. So for me, I think that the in-season tournament, like, that is now it kind of throws off everything. But when you have your regular season, why not have everything how it has been for years? I mean, I understand that, we evolve, we do different things, but why change what has worked for so long? So having an in-season tournament is definitely something that I wouldn't like anyway, especially as a player. But when people make those different type of agreements, something has to give, right? On both sides. You have to agree somewhere, and you have to give and take. So that means, okay, well, yeah, we'll agree with this, but you got to give us this. And I think that this in-season tournament was something that somebody had to say, okay, well, yeah, we're cool with that. And for me, I think the players, I'm not sure the players are gonna rock with that.
Well, I mean, they somewhat did. For me, I think it's just like, if you're gonna get teams involved in this, I know the prize money, it should be $500K already taxed, so $500,000 going to the player's bank account. But I'll say this: if you're gonna have teams participating in in-season tournaments, stuff like that, yeah, you got prize money, but I think you should do something similar like to baseball, in a sense, like maybe home court advantage for, so said team, whatever, or or I don't know how they would work this or not. If you win your in-season tournament, I don't know how you go along with this or not, or y'all in the chat. If you win this in-season tournament, you get to be put into the lottery ping pong drawing at the end of the year.
Yep, I like that.
Prize money, and then you get to be in the lottery odds. So for the 14 teams that don't make the playoffs, they be put in the lottery odds. Your team goes in with a, let's go with like a 5 to 6% chance to win the lottery odds. So that means, say for instance, the Milwaukee Bucks wins this in-season tournament. They get to move into the lottery. The lottery selection with their draft pick, the chance, to get a nice young player in the squad, whatever, or maybe, where we get picked at, trade a pick, whatever you want to do. But also incentivize, it will kick out the lowest. So, say the regular season ends and then the who I can think of, the Washington Wizards are like 14th. They'll kick them out of the odds. I don't know. I was thinking, top of my head, it's like you need more incentive. Just for 500K is 500K. I get that, but you could try and get these teams involved and stuff like that. Say, hey, besides winning the money, what else are we trying to get?
I mean that money thing is, you're talking about players that already, and teams that already have a lot of money. You make this in-season tournament worth it in a sense. So, because at the end of the day, NBA Finals is the most important championship that every team is going to go out. So this in-season tournament is going to be, I think it'll work, but you have to have more incentives that is going to have a team, put it to be important to them. Because in-season tournament, I mean, we talked about this, I think last week or a couple of weeks ago. Remember we talked about peaking. You have some teams that, I thought that track athletes were only ones that peak. It's actually football teams that may peak too early, basketball teams that may peak too early, baseball, all sports. They, plan their regular season out to be ready at a specific time. So now that you have this in-season tournament, I believe that some teams are going to look at this like, well, and players, well, if this is not NBA Finals, we have a situation right now with Kawhi Leonard, who was one of those players that would sit a game. They don't do back-to-backs anymore. So, that's something that the Spurs are known for not doing. Their star players don't play back-to-backs and all of that for whatever reason. Now that you have this in-season tournament, I think you're running into the same situation, possibility of coaches, of teams, of players, maybe not playing in this tournament because of what incentives are given. So if you give more incentives, more important incentives, now teams look at it a lot more different. Now it's more of a priority. To your point, you win your in-season tournament, now you get a chance to get, in the lottery. And a lot of teams would go for that. Because you're talking about a team like Milwaukee, and they win the tournament. they would love to get another player at the top of the draft to pair with Giannis. And Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton. So again, in-season tournament is good for if you're gonna do it. It could be good, but the incentives, to your point, I think that would make, for me, as like I said, the athlete or the player, I'm pretty sure for them that would make them look at it a little bit more important outside of just the money.
Mm-hmm.
Because money is gonna be there. It's just you add incentives, and they're definitely like, oh, okay, now this is raising eyebrows.
Yeah, it's like just the idea, just like, okay, like I said, Milwaukee Bucks. If I get a chance to win this tournament and potentially add a nice young player to my core that I can develop and not, and play whatnot, why not? The Lakers, for example. Another example, if they happen to win this in-season tournament and they can like move up to the lottery odds, despite how they finish out the season, they can finish first of the West or fifth. Don't matter where you at, your chance to get into the lottery with your pick is greatly justified. And for the Lakers, for a team that always looking for these veterans for cheap and whatnot and trying to haggle and stuff like that come to trade deadline, this is like the perfect situation for you. Win a tournament and then your lottery, and then you get into the lottery, get a nice young player for your team. A team that is desperate for nice young development talent. Max Christie could be a nice player down the road, but you kind of need something else. So that's how I would look at that tournament in my eyes. But moving forward, players will need to appear in a minimal of 65 games for consideration for major awards, including the MVP and all NBA teams. The game requirement is a response to load management that has plagued the league in recent seasons. Many of the players, league stars have missing games, leaving fans at the mercy of late injury reports to know wherever they see their players in person. So they seem like they're tying a lot of things to money in this new deal. Not just with the fans and stuff like that, but maybe like people in Vegas, DraftKings, FanDuel. I know I played one lineup last week, D-Lock, and like Jalen Brunson was like a late scratch. And I couldn't sub.
Yep.
Stuff like that. I think they're looking at a lot of money. It seems like more you read this, like a lot of money is tied into the CBA, and with the all NBA and MVP, it's like tying into money. Because look at Ja Morant. If he didn't come back to go this year, I think he would have lost out on like a lot of money if he didn't make an all NBA team. So a lot of things, are proposed in this CBA. But moving forward, a new luxury tax level estimated at $17.5 million above the current luxury tax, according to ESPN. Also, it's established in the CBA that prevents teams from using mid-level exemptions in free agency. The league was pushing for an upper spending limit or a hard salary cap. And that hard salary cap thing that Adam Silver has been trying to push for years. So, the last CBA, I just talked about the 2011-2012. Adam Silver, at the time when he was deputy commissioner, was kind of pushing, well, somewhere down the line we're going to try and do a hard salary cap. And he's been trying to push that for years. So, seeing a hard salary cap, and that writing right there, that's got Adam Silver written all over him. And I got a feeling if he's still commissioner around next CBA negotiations, he may get his wish. Some teams are willing to pay their luxury tax that match or even exceed their total player spending payroll, which can be viewed as a disadvantage to smaller markets. The new luxury tax level seeming compromised. This change reportedly would be phased in over several seasons. In response to the new luxury tax level, there could be new trade exceptions for teams that do not spend at the top of the tax. This could create new opportunities for teams to add players in free agency. Those changes are not yet fully known. Another way that teams can add additional players comes from an increased two-way contract slots from the current two to three in a new deal. The CBA also increases upper limits on veteran players' contract extensions from a current 120% to 140% increase. So, the one and done rule, that didn't change. So players still had to go out for college for another year. Or wherever they got to do, G League and stuff like that. So that did not change. Marijuana will no longer be prohibited under the new deal, but the league has not formally tested for substances since 2019-2020 season. So there's that.
Yeah.
So I haven't read that. Like I said, a lot of money's tied up in the CBA. What are your thoughts on this and the new CBA and how it's going to shape the league for the future down the road?
I mean, I think that is keeping that rule where you have to go to school. I think that's a very good rule, to be honest with you. I wouldn't say to extend it, to 2 years or 3 years or 4 years, but to at least get them to go to school, I think is wonderful. Because at the end of the day, I still think that at the end of the day, getting your degree is important. So at least getting that started, and possibly having the opportunity to do that during the off season while you play pro ball after you've went to school 1 year and then you're in the NBA. I mean, look at Zion right now. We're talking about somebody who we have high expectations of, but has been hurt. So I'm sure him at least starting his degree going now, he can finish it throughout the off season. I think that is very 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 good to have that. The marijuana thing, I mean, to be honest, that's not something that we were hearing too much about that much recently anyway. So it does change, but the biggest, like I said, one of the biggest rules for me, or the biggest changes, or the biggest consistent with this deal is, keeping the kids to go to school for a year. The tournament, which is, like I said, we talked about that. I don't think it's going to shift too much of the league. I think that now you're going to have, just the consistency. It doesn't seem like it's too much. Those are, kind of like the basic rules that they wanted to keep. And then, they just added more with the in-season tournament. So, I don't think that it'll be too much of a difference. But I think we will see the difference with the in-season tournament. And it's the same thing we see with the play-in now. Before they didn't have a play-in. Now you got teams that just want to get the opportunity to just get in. Let's not forget Beverly going crazy when the Timberwolves went to the damn playoffs. Then just to have that opportunity, you know what I'm saying? So that is a big change, and I think one thing that could change the shift of it is the in-season tournament. That's it in my mind. I'm thinking that's the thing that's going to make that big difference in the league. But other than that, I think that we're going to see the same league that we've had. But the biggest, like I said, that biggest shift with the play-in tournament, you're going to see the same thing here with the in-season tournament. So, but otherwise, man, I'm glad they got the deal done instead of, like you said, losing games, because once that happens, that throws everything off.
Yeah, throws everything off, and like I said, the league's been bad about that in past CBA deals. They've been real bad about that. So, like I said, like you said, it's good that they got this done. So, and lose no games. You know, you don't want to hear meetings that players get to the table and their deal's almost done and they messing up messing up the deal like a la Kevin Garnett. So, we'll see. Real quick, D-Lock, going to scores in the NBA. The Lakers have won against the Rockets 134-109. So, big night for Anthony Davis, 40 points for him. 15-20 for shooting on the floor. LeBron had a triple-double. Austin Reeves had 18 points. Off the bench, Beasley and Hachimura, 20 points for Hachimura, 20 and 12 rebounds for him off the bench. Beasley, 13 points off the bench for him, 3 for 11 for three-point land. So that three-point shooting for him, it's got to be better. For the Rockets, Jalen Green, 24 points, Porter, 20. It is for them. Your Magic, 128-102 over the Pistons. So, good win for Orlando. Very good night off the bench for a lot of guys. Suggs, Anthony, Wagner, and Goga Bizzetti, Adzi, if I pronounced that correctly, for the Magic. So good night for those guys off the bench. Detroit, James Robinson, 12-10 for him. He's been playing really soft for now. I'd like to see more growth for him over the next year.
Now that he's getting them minutes. Now that he's getting minutes, we're seeing, now he's getting a lot of minutes. We're seeing what they expected out of him, out of Memphis.
And that's my only beef with Steve Kerr. Like dog, you don't even play him. And I think, like I said, Steve Kerr is trying to be like a hard ass, just to be a hard ass on him. Like, come on, dog. You had a golden opportunity to kind of really, really solidify your team for the future, and kind of really pissed that away. But nonetheless, Magic win that game. The Spurs, they win in overtime against the Kings, 142-134. So big win right there for the Spurs, and a very bad loss for the Kings coming down the stretch. For them.
That was a shocker too, because they had the Kings winning by like 13 or something like that.
Yeah. The Knicks, without Julius Randle, who's gonna be out for a couple weeks, they win 118-109 over the Wizards. I think the Wizards are probably like shutting it down because Bradley Beal's not even playing. Porzingis ain't even playing. And let me get your thoughts on this about the Wizards real quick. There are reports saying that they may extend Kristaps Porzingis. Seeing that this team has been kind of mid all year, would that be a good idea for them to do? I know they got Bradley Beal tied up. That's more him than anything. But would it be smart to do this?
Man, to be honest with you, man, if you would have asked me this a couple of years ago, I would have been like, nope. But the way this man been playing, it's kind of tough to say no. It's kind of tough to say no now. Like I know, we talked about it multiple times about teams that are not trying to get better, that are just not doing too much. But Bradley Beal clearly ain't going nowhere at this point. Kyle Kuzma is showing you what he can be and what he will be. To be honest with you, I think Dylan Wright, I don't know how long Dylan Wright will be there. Monty Morris, I mean, he's a decent piece, but Porzingis is, I think he can help them make that push that they need. This is not like them trading for Russ. You know, they had Russ and Bradley Beal. Now you got two ball dominant, players on the court. Now you got you a big that we had high expectations about him getting drafted. Just usually being hurt and cannot stay healthy. What we historically seen from him. Recently, this year, I think he's actually been, for the most part, been pretty healthy for them. But if you are Washington, you have Denny at Gia. Hopefully I didn't say his last name wrong. You got you some guys, a good core right now, pretty young too. So see what you have with this group. Start to keep this group together and see if it's this group or the coach. So honestly, man, I wouldn't be against them extending Porzingis. Like at this point, hell, if Bradley Beal gonna be there, and basically we talked about it before. We asked each other like, why in the hell is he still in Washington? Like, clearly he's fine with them. He's fine, man. Try to build something, man. Keep your core together. Keep this core together for some time, and see what happens. We've seen teams have a great core for a long time, and just don't win a championship. We've seen it multiple times. Like, damn, why they never win no championship? Such and such. I feel like in this era where they are, at least keep his team together and see what happens. But like I said, a couple years ago, man, I was like, hell no. That's a crazy idea, but now I'm not against it right now.
I'm not against this. It's like, this don't be mid. This is like, but they mid. So if they do it, fine. That's on them. I just like, where y'all at in the organization? What y'all gonna do? How y'all gonna improve? Just like so many questions. Like spend a lot of draft capital on a lot of mid players that after the contracts go up, rookie deals go up, you don't keep them around. Like Troy Brown, Roy Huchemeyer. I could be missing a couple of guys. Admiral Sofield, so forth. It's just like, what we doing here? The Knicks seem like they ain't going nowhere for a little bit. The Nets, they kind of drop off a little bit, but I think they may be around for a little bit. Oh, by the way, Jock Vaughn, you need to play Cam Thomas a little bit more, sir. But anyways.
Yes.
But I just look at them just like, the Magic, come next season, they could be a lot better with the year with those that group of guys. So I just like, I'm looking. It's like I think Miami will be a lot better next year than the way they played. Milwaukee, Boston are fine where they are. Cleveland's gonna be pretty solid. I was just like, where are we at in the franchise? Where y'all trying to go? So, that's just my take on that. Let's see. Other scores real quick. Nets beat the Jazz 111-110. Bulls beat the Grizzlies 128-107. Big time win for the Bulls. Blazers beat the Timberwolves 107-105. So Blazers have basically shut down Damian Lillard. Jeremiah Grant probably done as well. Karl Anthony Towns in a big game trying to keep ahead in the playoff race. 8 points, 5 fouls, and 9 rebounds. That's not get the job done. That's actually pathetic, really. Anthony Edwards had 37 points, so that's good. But if your team's gonna try to win something, then Towns, he got to show up. That's why I kind of, if you're Minnesota, it's like, this Towns is worth keeping around in the long haul.
At this point, I mean, it seems like maybe Jimmy Butler was right. Like, that's another player, man, that just came out. We just thought he was just going to be like one of a kind.
Yeah.
And just has not, like, got there. It just seems good, but not what we expected. So I don't know. Like, and it's always something with Minnesota. Like, they've had a lot of talent. But with bringing in Anthony Edwards, I think he's making a big, big difference with them. That trade that they made, now having Conley, I think Conley is a solid piece of it because he's that, the quarterback of that offense for them. But even with that, you got Gobert. You talked about it when they got both of them bigs. How this is going to pan out. Then they got Naz Reid too. So that question, is he worth keeping? Is a legit question because Gobert is going to be Gobert, and it's just Collins and Towns are just up and down right now, man.
Yeah, like I said, I always question that fit. Like, you can't have both of those guys there, and it really. Granted, Towns has missed time this year, but Naz Reid, he's gonna be out for the rest of the regular season, and then when he plays, he gives you great energy and minutes and stuff like that. So it's like, are you really missing some stuff with Towns? I mean, granted, yes, Towns is a better player than Naz Reid, but if you bring back Conley, keep Edwards, keep Naz Reid, Gobert at the center, James McDaniels, who you really like a lot, Kyle Anderson off your bench and stuff like that. If you lose Towns, is that the worst thing in the world? I don't know. A lot of questions there. Raptors beating the Hornets 128-108. The slide continues for the Hornets. Just to continue to suck. Who they basically shut down all their players and playing the young guys like they should. And they got a lot of questions going to the offseason. A lot of questions. LaMelo Ball, Gordon Hayward, Terry Rozier, who I still question why they gave an extension to in the first place. Oubre, all that stuff. They got a lot of questions for that squad. And plus, Jordan's selling the team. Warriors up on the Nuggets, 56-45 right now in the second quarter. Warriors need to win this game to kind of show that they can win on the road, so they need to win this one. Bucks up on the 76ers, 71-62. Not Milwaukee. 76ers need this win. If they at least want a shot at the top seed, they need to win this game. Pacers up 63-59 on the Cavaliers. Damn it. Jared Allen is playing. God, see? Go back to that, what we talked about in the CBA. Lay ad. Because I wasn't too sure. And I'm on a fantasy basketball championship right now. Awesome. But anyways. Indiana's up right now on the Cavaliers right now. And then the Suns, poor guy here, up by like a minute. 5 on the Thunder, 121-113. Thunder kind of need to really pull this out late to kind of keep ahead of things in the standings. But since Durant been back, things have been kind of going good for Phoenix. Let me ask you this before we get out of here. if Durant can stay healthy, how far can you see Phoenix going?
Mm. Uh, I think they get to the Western Conference Finals. Yeah, they get to the Western Conference Finals. They don't go to the NBA Finals. I think they go to the Western Conference Finals. I think that they, with all that talent, like I think they'll be fine. Now, right now, it seems like they're seeded to play against Golden State right at this moment. Playoffs will start today. Um, so I think that they have it's just too much firepower over there, man. If, like I said, having Durant staying healthy, Devin Booker giving you 30 plus anytime he wants. Hell, he going off with Durant, and so without him. So imagine him together, So that Chris Paul is going to be Chris Paul. So I think that they can get to the Western Conference Finals. Man, I'm just hoping, and I'm just hoping that the Lakers can keep this together to end this season, right? Because if they get in the playoffs, I think that's the biggest threat in the West. I mean, no discredit to Denver Nuggets, but that team in LA, with the pieces that they have, I think they can do some damage. So, and I think that if that happens, Phoenix runs into the Lakers, and when AD is AD, nobody can stop him. So, like I said, Phoenix, Kevin Durant do stay healthy. I think they get to the Western Conference Finals, definitely.
Just look at the standings real quick, D-Lock. The Lakers are in 7th place right now, tied with New Orleans. They're half game back from the Clippers. And then if the Warriors lose against the Nuggets, they'll be a half game back of them for the 5th spot. So, come Tuesday, because none of the teams play on Monday because of the national championship. Come Tuesday, if the Lakers beat the Jazz, if the Kings beat the Pelicans, if the Thunder beat the Warriors, a lot of ifs, I know. If the Nets beat the Timberwolves, you talking about a Laker team in the top half of the bracket. And come Wednesday, the big matchup between the Lakers and the Clippers. The Lakers win out on that. 5th and 6th is right there.
Yep.
Grizzlies playing the Pelicans on the 5th. So if you're a Laker fan, you hope you win Tuesday's matchup. You hope you win Wednesday's matchup. You hope all those teams I just named out lose. And if those games happen, lose out and stuff like that, then you looking good and don't have to worry about the play-in tournament.
And that's what you want to avoid. If at their best case, if they can avoid the play-in tournament, I think that'll do well, because that play-in tournament, you probably gonna get that. If I'm looking at the play-in tournament, you're gonna either get that number 1 seed or that number 2 seed. Now, granted, like I said, the Lakers are healthy going into the playoffs. I don't give a damn about who none of these teams got. They don't want to play the Lakers. I don't want to play. I don't want to play that team. I wouldn't want to play that team in a 7-game series. That's just not what I would want to see Anthony Davis 4 or 5 games. Hell no, no, I don't want to do that. So, but again, it's the similar situation with Phoenix, with the talent that they have. And I know I don't say too much about Denver. I think Denver is talented. I just feel like so much they have so many pieces, but what happens if Jokic is contained? If Jokic contained, what happens, with Denver? So, but yeah, like I said, back to it, if the Lakers could possibly avoid that and jump all the way up into the middle or the high bracket side, I think that's going to pose a big threat to Phoenix, big time. I don't know what the hell's going on with the Warriors. Right? It just seems like they're not the Golden State Warriors that we usually know or we've been accustomed to. So, but and then Sacramento has had a hell of a season. Even though they did take that loss today, they've been playing pretty well throughout this whole season. So, but either way, the Lakers get up in that playoffs. I'm not trying to see it.
So we'll leave on that note, and we'll see how the playoffs position shakes out. But thank you for tuning in with us tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thank y'all. We greatly appreciate it. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to Terry Rodriguez. Thank you for tuning in with us tonight, sir. Shout out to Marcus Los Great. Thank you for tuning in tonight with us. D-Lock, how can people find you on social media?
You can find me at Black-813 on Twitter and Instagram. Let them know where they can find the show's page.
You can find the show's page at Fast Break IESR. That's Fast Break IESR. Do follow us on there. Tweet a lot of good stuff on there, all that stuff. Transfer portals happening in college sports, which is kind of crazy. I look at the list the other day. It's just kind of wild how many players are on there. You know, the men's championships tomorrow, playoff positioning, all that stuff. So do tune in with us on that. I do have another page, Spawn4288. That's Spawn4288 on Twitter. I do another show on the side called The Crooks Process. You can follow the show on Instagram and Facebook, called The Crooks Process. Other than that, we'll talk to y'all next week. More playoff talk, remaining thoughts on the college basketball season, recruiting, all that stuff. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, we'll talk to y'all later. Peace.